During the 1940s, especially across Europe and parts of North America, families faced winters with unreliable power, rationed fuel, and damaged infrastructure. Cold deliveries were sporadic, electricity failed without warning, and many homes could not rely on active heating systems at all. Yet period accounts, architectural records and surviving buildings reveal something remarkable. Entire houses remained livable through freezing winters without pumps, fans, or additional fuel input. This was not comfort heating. It was survival heating, achieved through a loophole in how early radiator systems interacted with building design, gravity, and heat physics. This section explains how early radiator systems were fundamentally different from modern ones. Most homes built before the mid-20th century used gravity-fed hot water or steam radiators. Back in those days, these systems were actually designed before electric circulator pumps became the standard, you know. Heat movement, well, it depended on density changes rather than relying on any motors. Hot water, it rises naturally. Cooler water, on the other hand, falls. So, once water was heated, even just a little bit, it would begin circulating through the pipes all on its own. And here's something crucial. Many of these systems didn't actually shut down completely when the boilers went cold. Residual heat stored in iron radiators, brick walls, and vertical piping kept moving warmth through the house long after the active heating had stopped. The real secret, or loophole, lay in vertical continuity. Radiators were often stacked floor to floor, all connected by these large diameter pipes running through the structure. So, when even a small heat source managed to warm the lowest section of the system, convection would begin. Warm water rose slowly through the network, releasing heat into upper rooms, then cooled and descended again. No pump was required. In many wartime homes, a single low-output heat source, sometimes nothing more than a kitchen range or shared boiler running briefly each day, kept the entire loop active. Cast-iron radiators were thermal batteries. Once warm, they released heat slowly for hours. Thick masonry walls absorbed excess warmth during active periods and released it gradually overnight. Wooden floors and plaster ceilings allowed vertical heat migration instead of trapping it. You see, back in those days, fuel was only needed to initiate circulation, not to sustain it continuously. Just a short firing period was enough to heat the water and start convection. After that, gravity and the temperature difference did all the work. Quite efficient, don't you think? The homes of that era, well, they weren't airtight like today's. There was a bit of controlled leakage that allowed warm air to rise and redistribute naturally. Stairwells, they acted like thermal chimneys, guiding the warm air upward. In those multi-story homes, the lowest radiator loop was often prioritized. Kitchens, which often had stoves used daily, became the primary heat injection point, and radiators placed near staircases were left unobstructed to encourage that vertical movement of warm air. It was all quite practical, really. So, with the introduction of electric pumps, smaller pipes, and zoned heating, folks gained better control. Yet, at the same time, some passive resilience was lost. Modern systems, well, they come to a halt entirely if the power goes out. Those narrow pipes, they just don't allow gravity flow like the old ones did. And, lightweight radiators lose their heat too quickly to store any real warmth. The real lesson here isn't to give up on modern heating. No, not at all. But rather to design for redundancy. Large thermal mass, vertical continuity and gravity-capable loops, these can all supplement your active systems and add a layer of reliability. Even simple actions like letting heat move upward naturally and steering clear of unnecessary compartmentalization can really boost resilience during power outages. Sometimes the smallest changes make a world of difference. The 1940s radiator loophole was not some secret invention. Honestly, it was more of an unintended advantage that came from early engineering, mixed with the practical living habits of the time. As our energy systems keep getting more and more complex, the value of passive, fuel-free resilience really starts to become clear again. The 1940s radiator loophole, well, it shows us how entire houses managed to stay warm just by using gravity, heat storage and some smart design instead of relying on constant power. If this guide added lasting value to your understanding of forgotten technology, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, share this episode with fellow history enthusiasts, and help make sure this knowledge stays alive rather than being rediscovered the hard way.